Jesus didn't have a problem with people that's in the streets. He had a problem with religious people.
How can I help anybody when when I was not even able to help my own son?
I would never do that. I would never do that. And I became that in a matter of minutes when they took my pain pills away.
And I said, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be.
This is Faith in Your Recovery. I am Randy Davis. Welcome to the battle. As always, we appreciate you joining us here on our podcast, Faith in Your Recovery. We'll introduce our guest in a couple moments here. We'll get into some of her life, her struggles, her victories, and what she's doing in life. The needs out there, the struggles out there, it's all real. And we talk about this week after week. We're on episode, I believe it's 149. This is almost 150 episodes. And I believe we've uncovered a lot of things, but we recognize and realize we're not there yet. If we were, there'd be no need for this podcast. But we're going to do our best to share with you, to encourage, to uplift, and to hear stories that'll help you make those right choices and best decisions. So once again, our guest today is Melissa Campbell. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Absolutely. Tell us a little about your background. Tell us a little about, Melissa, what life's been about, the struggles you've had. Go ahead.
So it started early in childhood. It pretty much started when my parents got divorced. I'm the youngest of five. So when my parents got divorced, everyone went their separate ways. My father didn't see him at all. My mom moved us to Minnesota. My sister and I did not see her for quite some time.
How old were you at that time?
I was five.
5 at the time of the divorce. Okay, go ahead, please.
During that time, my sister that went with me ran away. So then she was missing for a long time. So it was just me with an aunt and uncle. Then my mother did finally come, and that's when pretty much my abandonment issues kind of started. I was afraid.
Understand.
Everyone's going to leave me. Then things got pretty good for a little bit. My mom got us an apartment. We lived there. My brother moved in with us too. But then my mom started dating a lot and did not see her. My brother was 16 at the time, so he was doing 16-year-old boy stuff and was never home. So I was basically raising myself at 6 years old by myself. I struggled a lot with some sexual abuse from another kid down the road. I was locked in a garage for quite some time. There was just a lot of things that happened until my mom met my stepdad. So, and then when I got with him, life was great. Things were good. I was spoiled. He took good care of me. Then it was probably about a teenager's when I kind of started dabbling with some marijuana, drinking a little bit. But I did struggle with some depression and things. So anything that I did wrong, there was a medication for it. My stepdad was very big on medications. So if I snuck out, I needed sleeping pills. If I cried, I needed depression medicine. If I wasn't concentrating in school, I needed ADHD medicine. So I believe now, as an adult, looking back, that's where my struggle started with addiction, thinking I needed a medication for anything and everything. I was not real big into drinking. It was more the marijuana and taking the pills that I could is where it pretty much started. Then I became a teenage mom at 16. That was difficult, but yet I had my stepdad as well. He provided everything. He helped me through it. My mom was amazing. Things were good, but still that there was some darkness within me that I never took care of. And I did not realize that until I hit my addiction as an adult.
Approximately what age you're saying adult? What is that
I was
for you?
actually 35 5 when I
Okay.
started methamphetamine.
Okay.
So I started methamphetamine, and really I had severe self-image issues. Um, and at this point, I gained a lot of weight for some health reasons, and it was very hard to lose it. When I seen other women that I knew losing the weight on methamphetamine, that's what intrigued me. So I started using. Um, because I was on Adderall and things like that, it took a lot for me to even get high.
Okay.
So I was smoking a lot. Um, and I noticed the weight loss, and I just couldn't stop. It was a spiral. Lost probably about 75 pounds within 6 months and felt great. I felt like I could do anything and everything. Um, it gave me the adrenaline to keep up with my kids.
How many did you have at
I had
that
2
time?
daughters at this time.
Okay.
Yep. Um, my oldest at the time was 17, also now a teen mom. She had her daughter when she was 17, and she was getting married. My youngest was 13 at the time. It was about a year after started using, I was in an abusive relationship. I was extremely depressed, didn't have my kids. My daughter wouldn't let me around my granddaughter. Things were hard. I attempted suicide. My oldest daughter found me and took me to Cornerstone. So I stayed there for inpatient treatment for about 3 days. It was Memorial Day weekend. And come Monday, Memorial Day, they said, "Are you feeling better?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Great, you get to go home because there's no staff here to really do anything." So they let me out. I got out, went straight and used again. 2014, my boyfriend at the time, I got back with him. We were at a house and he was manufacturing, and the Gene team showed up in Grant County. Arrested us. I got a level 4 conspiracy and dealing in methamphetamine. I did not do prison time, thank goodness. I had 3 years probation, which I did great. My boyfriend at the time was still incarcerated, but he was looking at house arrest for 4 years and possibly getting out. He was apologizing, doing all the things for everything, the abuse and all of that. The jail talk. I believed it, and so I believed in him. I got clean, stayed clean, did my probation perfectly. He got out 10 months later. We got married. Things were great for about 4 years until 2018. And then he brought home some more meth. And it maybe took 2 hours to convince me, and I started using. But this time it was different than the last. It was affecting my mental health severely. I felt like my past was coming back to haunt me. There was things in my head that I thought I buried, put away from my past. But it seemed like every time I took a hit, it was there. There was just more trauma coming back. I couldn't get out of my head. I attempted suicide probably, I want to say that it was a total of 5 times. I was caught every single time. I even hid. At one time, I hid in the park, and I was found instantly. So I knew right then, this was a God thing. And people were trying to get me to read the Bible and get me to turn to Jesus, and I wasn't having it until I seen him in the clouds. Literally, seen him in the cloud. He was a cloud. And that was pretty much my moment. I was still skeptical, but I noticed when I would slow down using that things would get better. the thoughts would get better. The healing part would start where it wouldn't affect me as much. I used a couple more times here and there, but nothing like I was. And then in January 5th of 2019, I had a mental breakdown. I couldn't do it anymore. I was destroying things in my home. I probably should have been locked up. But thank goodness, my family, my kids, they helped me through it. And that was the last day I used methamphetamine.
What was the status at your children at that time? How did they handle that? Yeah.
My oldest has always been my little best friend. She has always had my back no matter what. She's just always been there for me. She was angry. She was very angry. She was hurt. She didn't know how to help me because I was mentally unstable. But she tried. My youngest she didn't have much to do with me. Her father was also an addict all her life growing up. So she felt very lost, very abandoned, just like I did. She dealt with, when I was incarcerated in 2014, the Ossian police came to me and stated that my daughter had been date raped. So not only am I incarcerated, that happened. My oldest daughter got married. My youngest was very angry, very confused. She felt as both her parents deserted her. So it wasn't till probably about, I'd say 3 years ago, our relationship started getting a lot better.
She's been through it a bunch, but it sounds like the bottom line is he's done everything he could have cannedly helped. Obviously he has a right to those feelings that he's been through and all, but a heart that cared enough about you, he wasn't going to let you go.
He wasn't letting me go. No.
Incredible.
It was
Right for her.
Yeah, for me, it was the first person that didn't leave. God was the first person that didn't leave, even at my worst. Even at my worst, he loved me. My father really has not had much to do with me ever. The abuse with my husband just progressively got worse between 2018 and up till 2023 when he was arrested for dealing. So it was pretty horrific. My girls seen me beat up, bruised. That was probably the hardest part for them, was seeing that.
So they obviously gave what they could give. Mm-hmm. They were there and helping in any way they can. And I don't want you to feel free to not respond to this question.
Oh, you're fine.
But if they had any struggle with drugs or anything that part of a life?
No, my oldest daughter is absolutely no. I think she has tried marijuana here and there, once or twice when she was first had her daughter, being 18, but she does not do any of it. She'll have a drink here and there, but nothing severe that I have to worry about. My youngest, I did have to worry. She was, at the time I didn't know because I was incarcerated and a lot of things were happening. She was using pills and she was drinking a lot. She did start drinking probably about 2 years ago, quite a bit, but we kind of had an intervention with her and, she's calmed down a lot. She's a completely different person today.
Hooray. If they were here with us during this interview, what would you say to them both right now?
That I'm so proud of them. And I'd say thank you. Those two saved me. Along with God, those two saved me.
Tell us, how did God play a role in this, Christ?
He, like I said, he was the first person to not leave. And all my life, people left. That's where, the abandonment issues. And things like that. And he was the first person to stay and just pick me up and help me and let me see my worth. And just, he would show me little signs that he was there. I can't really describe it, really. I know I seen an angel in my kitchen. There's no way that this light, the way it was shining in and how bright it was, and it dropped me to my knees. He has been there with my girls. He's been there with me through this entire process with my husband being arrested. I could have easily gone to jail with him, not once, but twice with my house was raided, 2021 and 2023. And knowing I'm being a felon, that I am not allowed to be around guns, and there was 46 guns in the house, an abundance amount of drugs. There was cameras, so there was cameras of me being there. I could have easily gone to prison right along with him. But thank goodness the Gene team does their work, and they knew I was clean. They knew I had my peer support. They did their work before they came in. So they knew that they knew about the abuse due to the 2021 raid that we had. I had bruises on me. So there was really no hiding it for me at this point. And he just saved me. He saved me from a life that wasn't meant for me. I was made for more than this.
What was one of those moments that moved you toward who you think God created you to be? What's one of those moments that you recognized, I can be more than this?
I guess I was sitting in the basement with my husband and some of his friends, and I was they're all high, I'm the only one clean, and I'm looking around, and one of the females came over, and she was just upset, and she was crying, and her boyfriend just beat her up, and she had bruises, so I was helping her, and I'm looking at all these men around, and not one of them are batting an eye. They're not thinking of anything except for their next high. And I kept telling her, even though I'm being abused and no one knew, except for my kids and some family members. But other than that, I hid it from everybody. I wore the thick makeup. No one knew. I took her upstairs and I started helping her and talking to her and coaching her. You don't need this. You don't deserve this. You deserve so much more. Even though I'm living in this situation, I'm trying to help this girl out of her situation. It's not really taking my own advice at this point. And I realized, I think that was my moment then where I enjoyed being that person that she needed. Even though I didn't have that person, I probably did. I just didn't turn for help. I just wanted to be that person for her.
So it gave you...
It gave me hope, and it gave me...
That's where I was headed.
Yes.
Exactly.
It gave me hope.
Some value.
Mm-hmm.
I can be better.
Yeah.
I am worth being better.
Absolutely.
It's funny how God gets us to get to that point at times.
Yeah.
And, it takes some moments to get that sense of self-worth and value.
Yeah.
When we get there, wow, we start to see the light of who we've been created to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. What keeps you going today? What keeps you from going back to where you were, experiencing where you've been? What keeps you?
What keeps me from using is honestly 5 years of sitting in my basement with probably, I'd say anywhere from 30 to 50 people a day in and out of my house, watching the destruction, watching their life be one thing at one moment. And after they leave our basement is something completely different. Watching these people self-destruct and just living in that day to day, I just never want to be that person again. And I know God won't let me be that person again. I'm not that lost little girl anymore, still looking for um, her parents to love her or for a man to love her. I can learn to love myself. There are still struggles that I have, obviously, that I still work on every day, but I will never want to go back and feel that low. Even though when you're first getting high, you feel like it's the best high of your life. It's not. It's the lowest moment of your life. And I never want to feel that low again.
Folks, we've been hearing a lot here from Alyssa about the effort of trying to change from the past to the present, where she's at. If you've got a question that you're interested in letting us know, let us know. Get a hold of us here, and we'll be glad to approach that. Let's go ahead now and kind of move to where you are today.
Okay.
I know that you're big into helping others with their struggle toward recovery. Tell us who you are with that, what you're about, your action, the way you're there with and for others.
Okay. So it was probably 2021, I believe. I reached out to a friend. I heard about peer support. Had no idea what a peer support was, but I was very interested. I was watching at this point, I was kind of reaching out to the recovery community. So I reached out to him, and he told me who to contact, where I needed to go to get my peer support, told me all about it. Talked to me about mentoring versus sponsoring and different things like that. So I reached out to Mental Health America and instantly got in for the classes for peer support. It was about 40-hour classes and then a test. So I got that, and then I started working for Radiant Health at the time, working at Branson Place. That was not where I wanted to start, but Branson Place, if you don't know what that is, it is a transitional home. So a lot of our clients would come out of state hospital and go to Branson Place. So there was more mental health behind it. At the time, like I said, did not want to work there. Not what I wanted. I wanted to do peer support. So, but I realize now, I look back, and it was a blessing in disguise. Very passionate about mental health. I am very passionate about trauma and people healing and giving them a chance to be who they are, even if they hear voices, even if they see things, even if I want them to realize that they're important, they matter. Yes, a lot, all their life they're being taught that they're just sick. They're just sick individuals, and this is how your life will always be. I have met many individuals that suffer from schizophrenia that do amazing things. They've been in state hospitals time and time again, and they are now peer supports and work for the Senate. They work for huge companies, and they run the companies. They're CEOs. So the mental health part of it was a blessing in disguise, and I absolutely loved it. And then I went to being on the ACT team for Radiant Health, but I felt like I still needed more. So then I worked for Wabash Drug Court as their peer support. I did that for a few months. Still wasn't feeling like it was my calling, but I loved it. I loved my clients. I loved, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them. But then I was told about IRAACS. So I put in my application and my resume and had my interview, and I've been with the Blackford County since February. So I go into I'm the engagement coordinator there. So I go in and I teach the Matrix program for the men and the females there that are incarcerated. So we also do one-on-one, so I can do the peer support as well. So we get to go in and meet individuals that are incarcerated and meet them where they're at. We have a vast variety of services that we offer. We can get people into treatment. We can help them get into sober living. We can help people reunite with their kids. It's amazing to sit and watch and see these individuals when they first come in change their life by the time they're about to walk out them doors.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
We want to hear more about that, but we've got somebody who has a question for us.
Okay.
Let's see what that is. And Eric, let us know what that question is, please.
Yeah. What are some solutions to the problems you face today in recovery?
I reach out to my peers. I reach out to my friends. I pray, and I pray a whole lot. I struggle, and it actually was just brought up today, made me stop and think that I still struggle at times with how people view me. I worry about that sometimes. And it is something I'm still working on. You have to rewire your brain, and you have to have people that you can reach out to that have had this lived experience. I was going to therapy, but I did stop for reasons. But I reach out to my people. I do probably hold in too much and don't open up as much. But again, that's something I'm working on. So.
Yeah, okay. Help us out. Let's just say somebody they're searching for the next best step for them due to their addiction, status and whatnot. What is the path you would advise they follow as far as
There is
help?
There are so many resources in your community. I live in Grant County, but I work in Blackford. There is, like, someone told me that was on probation. Say they're on probation. Reach out to your probation officer. They're not willing to just hurry up and throw you in jail. They want to help you. I know this because I worked with probation officers in Grant County when I worked for Radiant. They want to help you. A lot of people are scared that, well, I'll go to jail, I'll do this, but you'll be alive. We can get you treatment. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of my coworkers. There's, Jay County Drug Prevention Coalition. I don't care where you're from. Make that phone call. We will try to help you. There's so many people out there that can come to you and help you. Even with abuse. If you're in an abusive relationship, I tell people all the time, I post on Facebook, if you need help, I can help you. I can bring you to the right people that can do what they need to do to get you safe. I can give you, I can take you to that person. I can be your safe person if that's what you need.
So the help's there.
The help is there.
The hope is
You just have
there.
to reach out.
What do you see as what we need to be able to offer to help people understand there is that promise for help. There is that available. How can I feel that confidence if I'm that person in search for a better?
Yeah. It is scary. It is hard. I didn't want to reach out. Change is scary, but you're not going to know unless you try, unless you talk to somebody. And I understand that maybe people have had people they've reached out to before and were shot down. If you have to, reach out to me. I'm not going to shoot you down. I'm going to try to help you in every possible way I can. Even just reach out through Facebook Messenger. We don't have to meet face to face. We can talk I'll sit and talk to you for hours. You just have to take that chance. You take a chance on so many things every day. You take a chance on so many things. Your life, your safety, by going out and looking for them drugs or doing the things you do to get the drugs. Take that chance and just reach out and see what could happen.
You know, I've never played the role you have played. I appreciate those who have, the work they're there for, the comfort that they offer, the chances and everything, what goes with it. I've been at this for about 10 years, my personal work within this. Things have changed a lot, and that's so important for those who are in it. And it's okay to be where you've been. It's okay to seek help, and it's the way to find it. I'm like you. You know, I seek Christ for that, whatever it may be. And Christ, I believe, is the answer, that key moment. But we're not saying that's got to be yours.
No, and that's everybody's different.
Absolutely. Get us just give us a couple of key steps that those who are seeking recovery, those who are searching the path, give us a couple of those stains that are putting those pictures that helps them toward those guidelines.
I would say just taking that chance and reaching out. That is a huge step. No one is going to judge you. No one is going to force God upon you. Nobody is going to make you change what you believe. We just want to help. We just want to hold your hand and walk you through this and let you see that you do have options. You do have a chance at a better life. And I've heard time and time again, well, this is what I deserve. This is what I deserve. No, you are made for so much more. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee if we can walk through this together, you're going to be amazed. I tell, my females that are offered treatment and they're debating if they want to go to treatment or sober living, take that chance. Take that step, because the amount of things you will learn in just a 9-month program or a 10-month program is amazing. It's mind-blowing. How I sit here and watch these men and women go in a sober living and come out, their whole life has completely changed around. I was offered sober living, and I did not take it. I wish I would have at the time. Now that I look back, I wish I would have taken it, even though at the time I was already 3 years clean, but I still had codependency issues. I still had self-image issues. I still had so much hurt and pain that I could have worked through. Your life can be totally different. I mean, there's so many people, especially in Grant County, and there's so many more organizations now and help in just the 5 years that when I started getting clean.
Melissa, thank you. Thank you for sharing your experiences, your personal experience, that has brought about victories for you through the difficult times, and your willingness to share with other ones.
Thank you for having me.
As we get ready to close this sharing, is there anything else you'd like to wrap it up with? A thought or an idea or a thought or a piece of advice?
I guess my first thought is know your worth. Know who you are and know that you are made for more. Reach out for help. And don't believe all the negative that you hear about recovery. It's truly amazing, and you have to heal from your trauma. You have to. That's a must.
Amen. Amen. Well, listen, folks, we appreciate you having listened to this. We play for your feature that you're tuned into the fact. Just as we've tried to rescat. It's worth it. Hang in there. Stay in the battle. Don't give up. God bless. We care, and Christ cares more. God bless. Thank you.